Hey, what's up guys? This is same old G, and this is my fourth video of the day. I think we can say that I'm back, vlogging at least. Back with a vengeance. God, this is hard. Alright, so this is a Burning Wheel video. Because I wanted to talk about Burning Wheel because I've been reading a lot of it recently because I'm getting ready to play in a campaign soon, and there was an interesting phenomena I wanted to discuss concerning that. And so this video is going to be about reading Burning Wheel. It is because there is, I mean, it's worth mentioning it. Like, it's worth talking about it. Reading that game is a thing in itself. It's a thing. So here's a little bit of history about my relationship with Burning Wheel as a reader, like as a player, as a gamer, as a reader of it. And I'm talking about the Gold edition, so Burning Wheel Gold and Codex. So when I was playing a lot of Burning Wheel, it lasted a year and a half. We had this huge campaign. I talked about it on this channel if you want to know more. And so we were playing every week, sometimes 2 or 3 times a week. And so I was reading a lot of it back then. I was also reading the forum a lot, the Burning Wheel forum, and watching videos and making videos and all kinds of stuff. I was really involved with the game and the culture around it at that time. And so even back then, the Codex was not there though, but it doesn't matter. I was reading the Adventure Burner, the Monster Burner, and the Magic Burner on the side of the Gold, and it's worth saying that these books are really well edited, and they're well written. Sometimes there is like parts where it's not clear. But you go on the forum and everything is like explained and described. So I mean, you get what you want. I mean, in terms of information, you get what you want. And I don't really want to talk about, you know, the clarity of it or what. I just want to talk about the depth of this game in terms of understanding. You know, there's a lot of saying about Burning Wheel as a really long learning curve. And I mean, listen, like, I was playing that game for a year and a half. And I was reading it, you know, every day, a little bit of the game every day. You know, when you play Burning Wheel, you know that you read the book as you play, because you always go in the book, and it's a look in the book kind of game. No choice, because there's so many rules and so many little details and stuff. So you always refer to that book. And the book is super well organized and in sections and chapters. And so it's weird. It's really weird because it creates a sense that you know the game. You know, you get into a comfort level of it after a while, where you don't look much in the book, you just play, you know the rules, and you understand the philosophy, the approach of that game, you know, like, so you end up, you know, manipulating it in a way, like you don't change the rules, but you manipulate it, kind of thing. It's kind of hard to describe, but or to explain, but it's like there is an approach to it. There's an approach to these rules, and so once you understand that approach, that way of doing it, you you don't have to look up all the rules. All you have to do is play, right? And manipulate the different kind of mechanics that are available for you to achieve what you want to achieve. And so once you get comfortable with that, it kind of flows. So anyway, so we played like that for like a year and a half, and so I was really comfortable with the game. As a group, we were. But toward the end of the campaign, after a year and a half of playing it every week, 2 or 3 times a week, sometimes you end up developing bad habits. And this goes for every game, but especially Burning Wheel. You can get into like a comfort zone where you skip a few things, you don't do some things and you do others, you kind of avoid things and shit because there's so many things, so many little mechanics, so many steps. So sometimes you end up having your comfort zone as a group, right? And so you play that way and everything's fine and the result is satisfying, so you don't get back to the book that often and you go along with the flow. But after we finished that campaign, we realized that we were skipping a few things. For example, we were skipping some of the steel tests. We were skipping some of these perception rolls. We were skipping like the threats vote cycle thing. We were not doing it often. We were, there was a few little thing here and there that we were like, we realized that we were not doing it right, and so and not often enough and stuff like that. And so, and even back then, we were going back to the book. So that book has been read, at least for me. I must have read it like, I don't know, man, maybe 10 times kind of thing. Like just going back, rereading, like reading again and again sections, going over sections over and over. And so we estimated that our understanding of the game and our manipulation of the game, we were playing it around at 75% of its capacity. So after we finished that campaign and looked back on some of the things in the book, and we realized, wow, there was a few things we did wrong. There was a few things we didn't do enough. Not that we were doing it wrong, but that we didn't do enough. And so we estimated that we played 75% of Burning Wheel capacity. So it was pretty good. I mean, for the first year and a half, I mean. And then there was a lot of hours of gaming behind that year and a half, behind that campaign. So it was satisfying when we said, next time we're gonna take a break, put the book on the shelf, and next time we're gonna try to focus on these things that we were not doing proper. Like stuff like range and cover, we barely used it, right? Stuff like that. So, the book stayed on the shelf for almost a year for me, like almost a year. Something like 10 months. Didn't look it up, didn't went back to it. I mean, didn't read anything about it. The codex came in. And I read it, but realized most of it was some stuff I've already read before. So there was not much of it. Then I put it back on the shelf. And now, like I said, a couple months later, almost 10 months, almost a year later, I get the book back and started to read again. Oh my fucking god. This is the reason why I do this video. I started to read the book again with fresh eyes, fresh mind, and some distance with the experience of it. And I'm like, fuck. Like, I was reading the steel chapter, I was reading the sorcery chapter, I was reading the practical magic chapter, I was reading all kinds of things, and I was like, Jesus Christ, man. we never looked at it like I was. This is basically me. I was reading it, and I was seeing all bunch of stuff that I've never noticed before. I was just like watching a movie for the second time or the third time, and you keep on seeing things that you haven't noticed. It was the same. I was reading these parts, and I've read these parts many times, many times, but I'm reading them again, and I'm like, we never applied that rule. We constantly forgot about that one. This we never did it. This we didn't do it enough. Like I was watching all these things. I was understanding like how much bad habits we had when we were playing it the first time. And so my point is that, like, what is it to read Burning Wheel? I mean, it is a long process of understanding. It's a long process because there are so many intricate little rules and variations and possibilities you can do and so many things. So I strongly recommend to read sections by sections, like chapter by chapter. I strongly recommend to go back when you have a question about, let's say, for example, you have a question about emotional attribute. Go back and reread the whole section. This is what I've been doing. And you get to understand stuff a little bit better every time, piece by piece. Like it's, I mean, because the game works well, you know, even if you don't do all these minutiae. The games work well, even if you don't apply all these little possibilities. It works well, it works fine. You don't have to use it 100%. But when you come back to it after a while and you reread it again and you see all these, the depth of just the steel attribute in this game, it's like, wow, man, like you can get a level of simulation, you can get a level of precision with this game that is really, really interesting. And I just wanted to say, like, section by section, if you're a beginner, go slow. I mean, be patient, because the learning curve for this game is long, really, really, really long. And yeah, just don't be afraid to go back and reread all kinds of little details, like when a skill or an attribute is 5 or higher, when you help, it's 2 dice. This thing, it took us almost a year to apply that one, because it's written somewhere once, and you forget about it if you don't go back to that section. So some stuff like that is random. Sometimes you read and you go back, and then in a paragraph somewhere in that section it says this. And it's right there, and if you don't remember, you don't remember. So yeah, that's Burning Wheel in a nutshell, really, because it tells you about that game. The reason why some people are so in love, like me, are so obsessed with that game is precisely because of that. It's full of surprises. I'm still learning. I'm still appreciating it for what it is. So yeah, the codex is the same thing. Burning Wheel Gold and the codex, the same thing. I mean, all these little things. So just keep in mind, section by section, keep it simple, and be humble, because that game has a lot to teach you. All right, thank you for watching. Talk to you soon.